SummerSlam is almost here, and after a red hot ending to Raw this week, we are more than excited for the weekend to come. And we here at Aussie Cousins Wrestling are going to rank every single match build from worst to best. And you, our wonderful viewers, are going to go down in those comments and let us know where you would rank them instead, and of course, join our wonderful growing community. In 12th place, we're putting a bit of a controversial pick, and that is Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. Now, this is the only singles match on the card that doesn't have a title attached to it, and to me, I just don't know whether this story is clicking. Look, I do enjoy Karrion Kross and what he has done, and Sami Zayn is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but this story is just a little bit weird to me. I don't really get it at all. I understand that Karrion Kross is trying to make Sami into a bit of a bad guy, and they've already had two matches which weren't exactly the greatest matches. They didn't have very good chemistry between the two of them, so we're putting this one in last place. And our picks for this match, both of us, that's myself, Chris Apples, and my colleague, Mikey Spence, we're going to go for Sami Zayn to win this one. Moving on to 11th place, and it is Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. There really hasn't been much of a build to this at all. They've kind of been allies a little bit and helping each other out. We saw Tiffany save Jade. There hasn't really been any tension between the two of them. They haven't really interacted at all much. I know they've got a match on SmackDown this coming week where they're going to do the whole can they coexist angle, but outside of that, there's not really much going on between the two of them, only that Jade won the Queen of the Ring, and of course Tiffany was on her brand, so they get to have a match. Nothing really creative has gone on. But for this one, we both think that Jade Cargill is going to not just be crowned the Queen of the Ring this year, but she's going to get her crowning as the WWE Women's Champion at SummerSlam. Moving on to 10th place, and it is the Women's Tag Team title match between the Judgment Day of Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus the Allies of Convenience, I absolutely love that name, of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Now, when you boil it down, what actually happened with this one is that Charlotte Flair went up to Nick Aldis and said, hey, I'm Charlotte Flair, can I have a title match at SummerSlam? And he gave her a title match. I know there's been a couple of matches between the two teams, and each team has won one each of those matches, so, you know, that puts the seeds of doubt of who is actually going to win it. But in terms of an actual build, there's not really been much there, but I think this is going to be a really, really good match. Both teams have that little and big dynamic between the two of them, and I really think they can just put together some absolutely wonderful spots. I'm looking forward to this one, but the build, as I said, just boils down to, hey, can I have a title match? Yeah, you can. That's it. So for this one, we are both actually going to go for the Allies of Convenience to get the win here of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. In 9th place, we are putting the tables, ladders, and chairs match, the 6 teams heading for the WWE Tag Team title match at SummerSlam. And that, of course, is DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, Street Profits, the new team of Rey Fenix and Andrade, and of course, the Wyatt Six. Now, Mikey is going to go for Fraxium to win this match, and I absolutely love Fraxium, but I don't think it's quite their time just yet. I'm going to go for the new team of Rey Fenix and Andrade to win this one. I think this match is going to be absolutely incredible, but the build has just been really weird. I have not liked the Wyatt Six comeback at all this year. I think it's just been bad, to be honest. That first match that they had coming back a couple of weeks ago was just all over the place, and you could see the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, trying to really help Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis through the match, because they just didn't know what was going on towards the end of that. They had a really hot angle at the end of SmackDown where Nick Aldis just berated all of the tag teams and said, you're going to go for another tables, ladders, and chairs match. But the tag team scene on SmackDown, there are so many good teams there. It's just been really, really weird for quite a long time. So that is why we are putting it in 9th place. Coming up in 8th place, and it is Gunther versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. And the reason why we have it at this point is that, again, there hasn't been too much of a build to this one, but I think there might be one of two reasons why this could be the case. So the first one being that they want to have another couple of matches between the two of them, and so if you burn through all of the big barbs between the two big characters right off early, then you're not going to have much saved up for later on between the two of them. It's not really the feud between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, but they had so much that they could just keep on going back and forward. These two kind of have to manufacture a hatred between them, and perhaps that's where it starts at SummerSlam. But the second reason could be that Seth Rollins may be hanging around and he may be the one to actually cash in and win the title at the end of the night if his injury is not as bad as WWE has made out it to be. And there's a lot of people who are suggesting that he could actually come back and cash in for the title. Neither of us are picking that. I'm going to go for Gunther to retain in this one. Mikey Spence is going to go for CM Punk to win his first world title back in the company since he came back at Survivor Series 2023. Let's move on to 7th place, and it is the tag team match of Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. And of course, the caveat there being that Drew McIntyre can actually get back in the country because, as you've seen earlier in this week, he has been stranded in the UK. So we're going to presume that he does get back into the country, and I have a bit of an angle for this one, and I think that Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul are going to bicker and argue quite a fair bit in this match, similar to what John Cena and Logan Paul did at Money in the Bank. And then I think Drew McIntyre is just going to snap, and he's going to claymore Logan Paul's head off, walk away, and leave him to Randy Orton and Jelly Roll, probably an RKO from Randy Orton and a big chokeslam from Jelly Roll, and Jelly Roll's going to get the pin for the win. And in fact, that is the team that both of us are going to choose for this one, Randy Orton and Jelly Roll to get the win. We've put it about in the mid-range because the build has actually been pretty good. Like, they've actually done a lot into this build. They've invested a lot of time, a lot of effort. We saw them on one of the late night shows, Jimmy Kimmel, I think, where Jelly Roll was essentially filling in as a host as part of an angle there. So they've done a lot revolving around this build. I don't really have much of an investment in this match at all, although I absolutely love Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, of course. So we couldn't put it any higher, but because they have put a bit of time and effort into this, we're going to give it into 7th place. And of course, guys, if you love this kind of thing, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to us Aussies here at Aussie Cousins Wrestling, and let us know down in the comments below where you would rank all these builds and what match you are most excited for to see this weekend. And in 6th place, it is the WrestleMania main event rematch of John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. And these two have been in interactions for several months now. For us, the build has been up and down. Obviously, the match at WrestleMania, neither of us liked it. I'm sorry if you did. Obviously, some people did enjoy that kind of a main event, but I didn't like it whatsoever. And thankfully, they appear to have gotten rid of Travis Scott completely from the WWE now, so he can't ruin any more main events. And then you had that contract signing a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown, where essentially Cody Rhodes committed contractual fraud on live national TV as he grabbed John Cena's hand and made him sign a contract against his will so that they will have a street fight at SummerSlam. I think they're trying to put a bit more of the bells and whistles around this match so that they can hide the weaknesses of John Cena's game at this point in time. Obviously, he is not the John Cena of 10 or 15 years ago where he could do just about anything in the ring. So they're going to try and hide that a little bit more. And I'm going to choose Cody Rhodes to win his title back. And I think he's going to slowly start to move into a more heelish character, whereas John Cena is going to start to come the other way. Whereas Mikey's actually got an angle for this one. He is also picking Cody Rhodes, but he's suggesting that Cody is actually going to go full on heel now. And that is because The Rock is going to come out and he's going to turn on John Cena. Cody Rhodes has now sold his soul to The Rock, finally, after that offer came in February this year. And Cody Rhodes is going to be the mega bastard heel champion of the WWE. And moving on into 5th place, we have the triple threat match of Naomi defending her newly won Women's World Championship against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Of course, that cash in at Evolution was absolutely outstanding after it came on the back of one of the best matches of the year. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky have tremendous chemistry, and we know the experience that Naomi has and the athleticism and the sneaky power game that she can actually have as well. So I think she is going to be a fantastic third person to enter into this rivalry between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. And the build for this has been okay. They had a really good match on Raw this weekend, which puts it up into this point in time. But of course, because Naomi had that cash in at Evolution, we just think that this is one of the higher ends of the builds because that was done so damn well. And for me, I'm going to go for Naomi to retain, and my cousin, Mikey Spence, he is in agreement with me. He is picking Naomi as well. Coming in at number 4, we have Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus the two Bronnies, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. Now, the ending to Raw this week has bumped this right up to the 4th place. We actually had it a fair bit lower before that, but then this week on Raw, it absolutely exploded with Bron Breakker looking like the biggest badass in the entire company, just like he says he actually is. Those spears through the barricade looked incredible. His jumping clothesline to Roman Reigns over the announce table. I know he does it all the time, but that was the best one he has ever done. They looked like they were more than a match for Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. But because of that, that is why I'm going to go with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso to actually win this one. I think that Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed have been made to look a little bit too strong in the build, and that is why Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are going to get the win here. And Mikey Spence, of course, agrees with me on this one. At number 3, we have Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. I have absolutely loved the work that Solo Sikoa has been doing. He's this absolute douchebag of a heel who just so happens to get wins, mainly because he's got a bunch of goons who follow his every word. And Jacob Fatu has looked like an absolute beast fighting these guys off just about every single week until they just overwhelm him and then they take him out. With Solo Sikoa standing so strong against Jacob Fatu last week, I have a sneaky suspicion that Jacob Fatu is going to be the one that actually gets the win in this one. But Mikey Spence is going to go for Solo Sikoa to be the one victorious inside that steel cage. As I said, I love the work that these two have been doing. Their match at Night of Champions was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the greatest, but I think the stuff that Jacob Fatu can do inside a steel cage is going to make this one that you just cannot miss. We've got 2 matches to go here, and this one might be up here just through personal preference alone between the two of us here at Aussie Cousins Wrestling, and that is Dominic Mysterio defending his Intercontinental Championship versus AJ Styles. And my goodness, AJ Styles has become absolutely wonderful patter over the last few weeks. That Raw where he was basically 3 different employees of the WWE all rolled into one was absolutely outstanding. He was the valet at the start of the show. He then became the janitor to make sure he can continue spying on Dominic Mysterio. And then when Dominic got hurt by Raquel Rodriguez, who was the doctor that comes out? Of course, it is AJ Styles. Every time to a massive pop from the crowd, and is absolutely working because when he tagged in during that 6-person tag match on Raw this week, the crowd went absolutely ballistic for the legend of the business. And Mikey has a bit of an angle alert for this one, and that is that finally Finn Balor and JD McDonough are going to turn on Dominic Mysterio and cost him the win in this one. So AJ Styles gets the win, and that kind of leads towards a Dominic Mysterio face turn because of the crowd reactions that he's been getting. They might not be able to hold on to that for too much longer. But for me, I think that Dominic Mysterio is actually going to retain the title here. And the reason for that is that I believe they are going to have a rematch back in Paris. Of course, Clash in Paris is coming up next. And AJ Styles is going to get a ridiculous reaction in Paris. And I think that's where he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship in front of a crowd singing for him the entire time. And finally, we have probably the best feud of the entire year in the WWE, and that is Becky Lynch defending her Intercontinental Championship against Lyra Valkyria. These two, of course, have been going at it since the night after WrestleMania when Becky Lynch turned on Lyra Valkyria, and then they've had matches at Backlash and Money in the Bank, and then that fantastic triple threat match at Evolution. This has been so well done. Unfortunately, Lyra Valkyria didn't quite have her best night ever on the microphone this week on Monday Night Raw, but the beatdown she did of Becky Lynch afterwards with the kendo stick, I think was actually really, really good and kind of saved it for her. But the whole way through, I think that they have just done wonderful work. Becky Lynch has done the whole thing of, I'm telling the world that I'm holding you down, but what she's really doing behind the scenes is actually lifting Lyra Valkyria up onto her level, which is where Becky Lynch has always wanted Lyra Valkyria. And for me, I think the specter of Bayley is going to be hanging around this match, and that is why I have an angle alert for this, and I think that Bayley is going to come out at some point, not necessarily getting herself involved, but Lyra Valkyria just cannot take it with Bayley out there. She's getting a bit paranoid, and that eventually leads to Becky Lynch getting the win, and Lyra Valkyria snaps and beats up Bayley. So then those two can go off into a feud, and Becky Lynch can go off into something else with another wrestler that she is going to try and bring up to her level that she does so wonderfully. And that's our thoughts here at Aussie Cousins Wrestling. Please let us know what you think of these matches in the comments down below, and let us know what the most exciting match for you will be this weekend. When of course you like the video and subscribe to our channel. We've hit 600 subscribers now, and we're going to continue growing this channel as far as we can get it with all your fantastic support. And because you've been so wonderful, I'm going to chuck up a video on the screen right now, and that is the top 10 best moments in the WWE for 2025. Please check it out.